What, my brains? Hi everyone, welcome to Fiaura.
Hello, reprobates of the internet.
I have Geen here with me. And we have the Early Access 5 development vlog for Armored Warfare. Okay, so I messed up a couple takes. Leave me alone. It's been a day.
Mm-hmm. It's been one of those days.
In the meantime, you guys are seeing the Ramka 99, which you just saw in a video yesterday.
Mm-hmm. She's trying to Ramka it down your throats.
I like the tank.
Just a little bit.
However, we're going to go over all of the changes. So first, the new vehicles. The first one is the T92, Tier 2 Light Premium Tank. I calculate this out to cost roughly $3 USD. And it is just a little light tank to play around with a 90 mil. Using the oscillating turret idea, which was proven to be a failure. It's not really much to look at, but I'm guessing it's not going to be a terribly bad light tank.
What does it replace?
Nothing.
Nothing?
It's just been added as a Tier 2 premium.
Okay.
The next big thing is the Leopard 1A5, which is basically, let's take the OF-40 turret and put it on a Leopard chassis.
Mm.
I approve.
I mean, to be fair, one of the things you're trying to build up all the money for is so you can go to an event in a Leopard. She wants to drive a Leopard because, as she explained to me before, a Leopard one is street legal.
Yes, it does have blinkers and
Rearview
tail
mirror.
lights and rearview mirrors.
And she's going to mount a set of tags on it and drive it to wherever she chooses. Because who's going to stop her?
I mean, you get pulled over by the police and you're like, well, I have my tags. You can see those. You can see the blinkers. You can see the taillights. And you can see the rearview mirrors. What's the problem? You're driving a tank.
And
If that's the problem, I have a 105mm gun that might solve that problem.
I mean, at least it'll solve the problem of you having a car that's going to bring me in.
So, in addition to this, they've moved the AMX-10P over to Shishkin and have added this thing in front of the Swingfire. We also have the BMP-1P, which is basically the BMP-1 with the missile on it.
It required more DACA.
Yeah, it required more, and the BMP-1 definitely needs more DACA, and the Tier 4 version gets more DACA, finally. We have the Dragoon 390, which is basically an LAV 150-90, except for upgraded with a 300 horsepower engine.
Always useful.
Which makes it stupid fast.
We need more horses. Wait, did they paint it red?
No.
Damn it!
We have the ERC 90F4, which is a French 90mm tank destroyer.
What makes sense of this?
So many French vehicles in this game.
It's like they have something that they like about the French.
We have the XM1 main battle tank, which is the prototype for the M1 Abrams. Comes with a 105mm gun and several upgrades for it. It also gets a firepower, armor, and universal, and it gets 4 retrofit slots, like all of the frickin' Abrams tanks do, because Lord knows the Abrams needs it. Also, I've been told the Abrams has had its gunner sight and commander sight up armored, and the modeling on the commander sight changed, so you can blow the commander sight off now and not actually damage the tank.
I mean, that does require that then the commander is going to have to
peek
out of the
hole. Like I said, the AMX-10P is now over here on the BMD line, leading to the Ramka and the Warrior, which is very appropriate because it's all autocannon based AFVs. All of these lines also now have these little labels that you scroll over to find out how to unlock them.
Very nice.
And they are actually kind of really nice to see that what the line is based on. Eastern European MBTs, Western European MBTs. You now have a clear label for what this line represents. In addition to this, yeah, Tier 9 and 10 again.
there appear to be some gaps.
I don't approve of this. Now the gaps over here I can see being filled with the following. Centurion. Mark 7-1, I guess? Or Centurion. I'm not quite sure. I see the word Centurion twice in this line appearing. And I also see the word Chieftain Mark 10. And I see down here, I'm going to guess, upgraded Challenger 1. And then over here, Challenger 2.
We've had the conversation about the Challenger disaster.
Dear God.
I'm sorry for all the people.
I have footage of the Belgiolet Panzer 57. I don't believe it's a tank long for PvP. Because the combination of a heat-only firing 57mm cannon and the missile basically make you a light tank that only specializes at killing light tanks and AFVs, because unless you can get behind an MBT, you're not really going to be able to hurt it.
So it might be useful to support an MBT to snipe out some lights and that stuff, but it's not going to be its own tank.
I also see this, the XM8 main light tank, which is supposed to be a replacement for the Sheridan. It hasn't actually been put into service by the U.S. military. But here it is. It's equipped with a 105 custom gun. Oh dear God, the Americans made a gun. We should all look at it and kind of poke it to make sure it's real.
Wait. Does it fire the right direction?
Yes.
Okay, alright, that's good.
So that's the additional vehicles. I don't really agree with Tier 9 and 10. We don't need it. Tier 8 was what you guys had. It looked good. It still looks good. I don't know why we're adding Tier 9 and 10. Obsidian, you may be adding too many vehicles too quickly, and when the game goes live, you suddenly realize, oh crap, we've run out of vehicles to add because we added everything that exists already.
Because what? That's why.
I mean, you see down here T-14 Armada. This is purely a paper tank and pure speculation as to what the T-14 Armada is going to look like and actually is.
Should we start playing planes into the tank game?
Now, there's something else to take note of.
Your joke.
Once you reach proven status, i.e. you've unlocked everything but this down here where it says proven, you then get access to unlock additional stuff now. Credit boosts are universal for every single tank. Some tanks have retrofits. Some tanks have portraits. Some tanks, such as the T-90 down here, have titles.
And some tanks...
And I just discovered this while we were doing one of the takes that we aren't going to use. Have commanders!
Special commanders.
That you unlock. I'm going to have to go through all the tanks now and find the commanders.
Show them the pretty commander.
So I'm going to show you guys the pretty commander. This is the first unique commander that I've seen because all of his skills are unique to him. Lock-on times for ATGM reduction or reload time reduction for ATGM. Increased hull traverse, increased turret traverse. Increases damage cost to enemy crew 15 seconds after a nearby ally is damaged. Increased damage to enemy modules after a nearby ally is damaged. And reload time of your cannon is reduced if there are allies nearby. I could really see this guy being a super AFV specialist for a combat AFV like the Ramka 99.
Sorry.
But yeah, I found him and I'm like, oh my god, what is this? Awesome. I need to go
through
all of the tanks now and see if there are other commanders that are already in place. Now the base was operational at the very start of EA5 and they immediately closed it because there was a problem with the base causing a server overload, and before the servers crashed they did not want, so they did a micro patch to deactivate the bases.
All your base are belong to us.
But there is production for consumables that are going to be special to the base, hence why this consumable slot is still X'd out.
Or at least that's what we think.
And there is the possibility that the base is going to be able to unlock an additional retrofit slot on some vehicles that don't already have 4. This is speculation into what I saw before they locked it back down. I didn't get a chance to take a good look at it or get any recording time with the base itself, but hopefully they get it back online very soon.
Which again, it'd be really cool, but make sure it all works before you start throwing things.
Oh, and one vehicle I missed. The M41 Walker Bulldog is here. It is not an auto-loading 76mm. It's a standard loading 76mm, but it's the first light tank you can get your hands on.
World of Tanks says, "Grr, our Bulldog is tough."
This game says, "Grr, our Bulldog is more fun." I just said that. I have a Bulldog. You guys know this. It has 2 marks of excellence on it. This Bulldog is more fun. Alright, so that's all the changes to the game, but no early access vlog would be complete
Without some gameplay.
without some gameplay. Oh, there's another change, by the way. The HE ammunition has been balanced.
Oh, right, yeah. I remember this.
This is kind of important. This is something that we have been bitching about.
I remember your conversation, your particular displeasure.
But as you guys can see, there's now this, over here you'll notice, as you look down the stats, you see minimum damage armor threshold.
Don't forget about the missiles.
If it does not hit the minimum, if the armor is thicker than that minimum damage threshold, you deal absolute dead minimum damage. To illustrate this, I'm actually going to go to the BMD and scroll over, and you will see non-penetrating 76. If you hit the armor with the HE round from this thing, and it's 221mm or thicker at the point you hit, you do 74 points of damage. Period. The Ramka 99 actually has it even more detailed out when I go into the ammunition locker here, and you can see non-penetrating 7. I actually haven't been dealing 7. I've been dealing 2 and 3, and 2 and 3 points of damage is not anything to a tier 8 MBT. Even with 45 rounds of ammunition, you're talking 100 and something points of damage from a full clip, which is basically a waste. So that has been balanced out, and also AFVs and other tanks that have multiple ATGM launchers now have the full salvo, whereas in the previous patch, the Ramka and the Terminator could only fire 2 at once. Now I can load all 4 missiles and fire all 4 missiles.
So tell me, Fiaura, how could you possibly tell how much armor a tank has?
That is another feature that's been added. I can now go in here and see exactly what my armor is. The outer number is this, it even says the side hull armor. The inner number is the side turret armor. Now the turret on this thing is weak, but the turret on this thing only takes partial damage from any shells that hit it. And I can do this for every vehicle now. I can see exactly what my turret and hull armor is from the front, sides, and rear. Now this doesn't factor in the angle of impact, but this does tell me I do not want to be shot in the side of the hull with this thing.
Yep. So for those of you who like to know these things about tanks, hey look, it's here, you can know. And
armor diagram is built in.
And also, you can also look at the different types of ammunition. How about that? How about getting that?
It's so nice.
It's very nice. It is very nice. And that's, again, I as a World of Tanks player have run into the situation where I don't know how much armor my tank has at particular angles.
Something else to note is the retrofits have been significantly decreased in price to be reasonable now.
Also useful.
Whereas before, this hull reinforcement 3 would have cost me almost over 3 million credits. Now the Mark III only costs 1.3 million for the Tier 8 version.
This does not fix.
This doesn't fix the economy.
Yes.
But it is a good step in the right direction to do so.
Exactly.
So, let's go take a look at some gameplay. We're looking at.
Is it? You are.
I am Wiesel.
Yeah.
So
she was excited about that.
We have the Wiesel 1!
And the only... again, I think of Itachi-san because I am Naruto fan, and I'm sorry to everyone. Anyway, let's go play with the shiny thing.
We're going to go play with the shiny thing. And I'm making all these hand motions to make a mark, so I know exactly where I need to be starting this replay. But this is the Wiesel 1. You guys have requested this. You've also requested Leopard 2 A5, and I do have footage of the Leo 2.
Please, look at this thing. This is amazingly fast. And then it does this shit. It does this shit.
I'm a billy goat!
Look at that shit.
Now, the interesting part about the Wiesel that I noticed really, really early on, by the way, Obsidian, that guy, Rhino 1, I know that some of the moderators and some of the staff are watching this video. That guy, I called him out on his crap. That crap basket needs to, be dealt with.
So, other than doing some silly skidding along the top of this phenomenon, what would you like to say about this wonderful Wiesel?
It's a Wiesel.
Look at this. Look at this. Damage over there.
No, I didn't do any damage to that. Now, it doesn't really do any damage to the front of light tanks or the front of MBTs. But, even at long range, the little tank destroyer is taking hits and is not liking it.
And that also can be a tactic unto itself, because making your opponent panic in those kind of situations can really throw off your game. That's why I like to try and keep a cool head and go, alright, the tank, am I taking any damage? Nope. I am doing it right.
But this thing, oh my god, you guys are going to see some fantastically amazing... It really is a little mountain goat.
And how fast can this little mountain goat run?
On the paved road, I got it up to 120 kph, which, for those who want to know what that means in miles per hour...
I'm sorry.
Is about 80 miles an hour.
Some of us are not skilled at translating.
I'm also going to point out when I get close, we're going to get really close to a couple tanks here. And you guys are going to see just how tiny and hard to hit this thing truly is.
What makes it so hard to hit, Fiaura? I mean, other than the fact that it goes at 80 miles per hour. Or 120
Identified.
I think the power to weight ratio is something like 40 horsepower per ton.
That's silly.
Which, to put this into perspective for a lot of you, the best tank in World of Tanks has 27 horsepower per ton. This thing has somewhere between 40 and 45.
Also, let's not forget that the wonderful thing that goes along with the Wiesel is the fact that it can run, and its legs, quote, legs, are kind of long.
It is very... The track's push is about a quarter of its height, so if you aim too low, which is pretty easy to do considering that a quarter of the tank, there's nothing there. It's just the tracks in the open air.
Prepare for a cool lesson in Wiesel driving.
You'll also notice that down there on the tank indicator, there are these little white bars that keep coming up. Some of them semi-transparent, some of them dark. The dark ones indicate solid cover. The semi-transparent ones indicate bushes or environmental cover that is inhibiting spotting. That is a useful feature to tell you where you are shooting from.
Artillery.
Have a nice day, artillery. By the way, that was not me holding down the trigger. That was me tapping the mouse so that I could aim accurately.
It is a trick that you should learn to use because Fiora's probably going to use it against you. I mean...
Oh, poor Abrams. In just a split second, took 200 damage. Now, AFVs are actually looking pretty balanced because I have to get behind him or a flat side shot at his rear corner in order to actually hurt him. And he just fired through my tracks, went through the left side and hit the track on the right side, and I could give... That's the annoying thing. You can actually hit the Wiesel, and then you don't hurt it because you hit too low.
How many people are crewing this little Wiesel?
2.
Oh.
There's a person driving it, and then there's a commander doing everything else.
Well, that's just ridiculous. But what? Wait, doesn't that mean that, like, they're really in a bad spot then?
No, there's actually, they're all both in the rear of the tank. The engine's in the front.
Okay.
So you're more likely to take engine damage than crew damage, and the enemy Wiesel just hit me.
We'll come back for him.
So I go, you know what, screw you, I'm not doing a Wiesel on Wiesel fight, I'm gonna go be a billy goat.
And this is silly. Somewhere.
Hello, Leopard 2, how are you? You missed! Like I said, I'm not easy to hit. I've been a Zoidberg back here!
very important about you shooting. Certainly you're getting pushed around because you are a little man.
I am so small that when I'm up against him like this, his gun actually can't get low enough to hit me. But now, I'm just gonna dive off the mountain like I don't care. The fall physics for all vehicles.
So,
No, it's actually the Wiesel's suspension.
well, I mean, it's actually
The fall physics for all the vehicles, though, are individually made.
which is great.
Which means that tanks like the Wiesel that have insanely tough suspensions can just fall off a mountain and go, don't care!
Yep.
Now I decide that I'm going to have a race with this Wiesel. And I stop here, because I've outrun him, and start flinging shells. And I get 2 hits on him. But then he gets away, and I'm like, fine, you can get away for now. Do you know why? I'm going to go kill your leopard too.
You know that leopard that pushed us off the mountain? That's very nice.
Ammo up?
No, it wasn't, and I feel like he deserves to pay for it. Now, as I said, the Wiesel's an incredibly small target. The M1 Abrams is going to fire at me.
Woo! Missed.
At ranges beyond 200 meters, you literally have just about maybe 10, 20 pixels on the screen to hit. This thing is almost impossible to hit at high speed at mid to long
Identified.
range.
80 miles per hour. And 10 pixels. Good luck.
And also, that Leo had his gun pointed at me. He had every opportunity to shoot me.
Didn't pull the trigger.
He waited, he stopped to aim, and I'm sorry, I literally handed you a free shot at my Wiesel, and you didn't take it.
It still amazes me that you did that on the track.
It actually, I think it damaged my track because I hit the dead tank with the track.
That's what I was. Yeah, that's what I figured it was. It was the dead tank that you hit.
Now, of course, I realized I ain't got time for this. We ain't got time to sit here and play with this Abrams trying to hold the line while his allies cap our base. So you know what?
Around the Abrams.
Hey, Abrams. Bang, 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 bang. Dead.
Where are the Abrams?
Driving right on through here. I'm getting shot at by the Wiesel, which is what I want because it reveals his position. He shouldn't have opened fire at me because now my allies are setting up shots on him and I'm driving right in. I'm not even hesitating on this one. I opened fire where the Wiesel was and I go, oh, there's the tank for all cap points. Well, guess what? You don't have any cap points now. I should have kept driving and gone up on the hill. Instead, I turn around and head back. I've taken 1 hit from the TD. I take a second armor-piercing shell, which, by the way, firing Sabo with the Wiesel, you're always going to do partial damage. So instead, he switches to, you can see it right there at the bottom of the screen, a heat round, but he's dead.
Pop goes the Wiesel, but home goes their team.
This thing is so much fun!
Alright, sweet. We had a victory.
And we're also going to see some PvE footage of the Wiesel. But first, let's go over the particulars. Now, Obsidian, you say you significantly increase the rewards.
I mean,
I call crap baskets.
I call shenanigans.
It's not the reputation reward we're worried about, Obsidian. Stop worrying about that. That's fine. Whatever you got it at right now, keep it there. Listen to the following words. Double. Twice as much. That is how much your rewards should be handing us for the time investment we're giving. Because this single battle is worth a 1.25 times multiplier. That's not the base. With just base gross total, I would have only made 30,000 credits. With the win multiplier, I make 80,000. That's pathetic. To get a tier 8 vehicle, I will be playing, what? 8,030,000 credits of victory?
8,030,000, so 30,000 each. That's
2,500 battles?
Yeah,
2,500 battles.
something like that. Yeah.
For my tier 7 to get enough credits to get a tier 8 vehicle. That's assuming they're all wins. 2,500 wins.
That's kind of silly.
That's obscene.
That's silly.
That's obscene,
And
Obsidian.
and that's only for one.
That's only for one tier. That's one tier 7 grinding it to get a tier 8.
Yep. Alright, GLHF, ladies and gentlemen, let us begin the PvE.
Oh, dear gods, we're going to get straight into the PvE, aren't we?
Yep. So rolling off the line at a silly, fast pace.
You're right, Leopard 2. The Wiesel is so tiny, and that's the biggest advantage it has. It's so tiny you can't hit it. Whereas the Ramka 99 is like, I am armored god. So I refer to the Wiesel affectionately as the little demon, and I refer to the Ramka 99 as the pit lord of hell, Satan himself. I think it's originally from like Dungeons and Dragons.
Is it? Okay, great.
In the meantime, I'm going to drive around and wreck these cartel helicopters because I can. Now, my driving skills need a little work with this thing because it's incredibly hard to control.
She is not a Wiesel driver.
As we can see from the opening of this.
Identify target. Kaboom. Kaboom.
Now, we're about to see some really, really shenanigans. I'm not spotted yet. Now I am.
Why did it take so long for you to be spotted?
Because the Wiesel is a stealthy, stealthy thing.
Yep. I don't know if it's not necessarily
No, but it is perfectly stealthy and it is capable of delivering quite a, even against the Ramka's turret at partial damage. Hello. Just keep, and this is a very common tactic for Wiesel drivers is to poke out, fire a couple shots, then pull back before anything can react to you.
Attract attention, run away.
And I realize that the M2 Bradley has been dealt with and that I need to move up here and help my friends. Now I will fully admit the Wiesel is also a kill stealing bitch. I mean,
oh shit.
Oh crap baskets, I'm being fired back at. Alright. Let's give these Ramkas and Terminators something to fear. I am Wiesel!
Again, if you know where that's from, congratulations, you're old.
And your power move was awesome.
It probably was.
Oh god, 2 Terminators opening fire, but again, I'm tiny! They are missing repeatedly. Finally, one of them gets a hit.
Well, why do I feel like that was a couple of Vegeta's, or not Vegeta, sorry, Frieza's men trying to throw, throwing plasma at you.
Frieza's men going, you missed!
Hit the broadside of the spacebar. We may have been watching some
DBZ abrasion earlier.
Yeah, we may have been watching some DBZ abrasion earlier, so...
Now, just like the Ramka, with the Wiesel, I move up with no fear and ow.
Except for your own driving.
Except, the biggest enemy I have found when driving the Wiesel is my own ability to drive. The Wiesel itself, awesome machine. The ability for me to control it while I'm driving it, not so much so.
To be fair, it is kind of like a little friggin' drag.
Little drag. It's like an RC car.
It is like an RC car.
With a 30mm cannon.
And I can say from experience, RC cars can sometimes be difficult to drive.
Actually, yeah, that's what this thing is like, driving an RC car with a 30mm cannon.
I mean, I've never strapped a 30mm cannon to an RC car. I'm pretty sure it'd be hilarious. Probably feel a lot like this, but
So I'm gonna.
if anybody has strapped a 30mm cannon onto an RC car, first of all, where did you get a 30mm cannon to fit an RC car? Second of all, tell us about how it went. Yeah?
And I come through here and I spot all these vehicles and I
you're
go,
spotted.
yep, I'm spotted. I'm like, there's something here called a big bag of nope.
I'm going somewhere else where there's less nope. Headed for
Hey, look, I spotted the artillery.
Shoot it.
And I decide this expeditionary tank needs all of my wrath and fury.
How How much damage do you do with those shots?
I dealt 330 with that volley. Yeah, there's also a damage counter for your autocannons now, so you know how much damage you've dealt in the last 10 seconds with your autocannon. I'm gonna mark the target.
Behind you.
I see there's...
No, not you. The guy you were gonna shoot.
repeatedly.
Look behind you. You're gonna get shot.
And when this thing marks targets, doing almost 100 points a shot, if you get behind someone, they're dead. You've just shredded them to pieces before they can do anything about it. I don't necessarily agree with that game design, but
Powerful.
it does make the AFV feel really, really potent. And the MBTs, remember, have had their mobility problems.
And our actual guns are slightly debuffed.
Their actual guns are slightly more accurate.
Well, they're more accurate.
Now, I remembered, oh right, the M2 Bradley doesn't move very fast, so I can just auto-lock it and spray rounds, and it's dead. 30 mil autocannon, death.
Congrats on your death.
And of course, I'm driving through here, and look how big my spotting circle is. For a PvE battle, that's huge!
Yeah, it is kind of about a fourth of the map, right?
I see all.
As long as it's not behind time.
Yeah, as long as it's not behind something hard that's hard cover, I see it. At this point, I'm just driving around, looking for targets. Oh god. Yeah.
Mountain goat. Mountain goat. Nope.
Not mountain goat in this one. Okay, finally defend the next zone is activated. I want a mountain goat in that one though.
Yeah, just barely. Alright, so moving over to this new area. What would you say are the two strongest things about the Wiesel?
Speed and the cannon.
What is its weakness?
You don't have any armor. And every time you take a hit, you do something breaks.
So in other words, it might be kind of other Wiesels, possibly.
A Wiesel on Wiesel fight is not something you ever want. Both sides are going to come out, and they are going to. Doesn't matter if you're still alive or not. You technically came out in the negative. Take a hit. I mark the target and hope that everybody's going to shoot at him now because I will receive a huge assist bonus for that. And no, there we go. Somebody shot him. And I spot all of those incoming AFVs, by the way. Oh no, they're still lit all day long by the Wiesel.
Good night.
I am Wiesel! Hey, Expeditionary Tank, you and I are gonna have words.
Do the words involve boom, boom, pow?
The words involve boom, boom, pow. Be close enough that auto lock works and just spray away at this poor Expeditionary Tank. And I run
Of
around.
course, watching Fiaura and her spectacular guy, Wiesel.
And I get so close that his gun is having trouble tracking me. And then I reload.
You got hit.
I got rammed for 50 points of damage.
Yep. Which, of course, is something you don't want to do.
In Armored Warfare, getting rammed for 50 points of damage is significant.
Yep. In World of Tanks, it's you probably bumped your life damage.
Well,
Going for a swim, are you?
yeah. Well, I did get the bonus damage from the AFV spotting the cannon.
Also useful.
I was trying to get beside that tank so I could shoot it in the side and do the lock on at the same time. Hello, Terminator. There's a car there for you.
Ooh.
This is not a good situation. I need to actually be moving.
Nope.
However, my MBTs annihilate that Terminator.
That was a speedy turn you just did.
Whee!
You totally intended to do that, right?
Absolutely.
All
I
right,
am
the
Wiesel.
Sams are taking out their cargo planes. Good work, Black Company.
Again, this vehicle was heavily requested by you guys, and here it is, the Wiesel 1. I got third in damage behind the two MBTs that almost tied, and I tied for second in kills.
So it seems like this is a solid tank if you know how to run like a light tank. Also, it helps if you can drive. But if you can run like a mountain goat and can spot like a crap basket, trying not to swear anymore, Wiesel might be a good choice for you.
Now, here's the rewards.
Are they really weak? As ever.
Absolute trash, Obsidian. 22,000 credits for 10 minutes of my time. You're kidding, right?
Apparently.
So, I hope you guys enjoyed this early access vlog. Please like and share the video, guys. And please leave comments. Let me know what you think. Check out these other two videos and check out the patronage page. And Geen, as always, it is wonderful to have you.
Always fun.
And your silly, silly shenanigans, as well as your additional questions, provide me with some perspective.
Indeed.
In the meantime, this is Fiaura officially signing out for right now, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye, guys. M1 versus M1A1. Already actually ricocheted. That actually happened. Not quite sure how, but it happened. Now I start advancing through here. I get proxy lit by the Wiesel, who needs to die in a fire because it's a Wiesel. A missile's coming at me. Not that I care. My anti-missile system will go off and shoot down the first missile, and then 45 seconds later I'll shoot down the next one. Oh, there's that Abrams. And I go for the hatch. Minor damage. He returns fire and gets a full pen. I return fire and penetrate the turret ring, damaging his turret, killing his commander. I'm pretty sure he's going to use his first aid and his repair kit on those. Poke up. And now I'm going to make a run on the Arate. Right up in his rear, just driving through. They hit me. The ERA plates fire. I don't care. LOL. You need to shoot it in the turret or the driver's hatch on the front of the tank. Those are the only two real options for shooting this tank. That triple thick, you'll notice on the back of the tank there are triple thick, what are they called? Cage armor. Actually stops Sabo rounds if they're not flat on. And I'm making another run right on the Chieftain. I'm going to kill the Arate first. He's dead. Chieftain. Eating my 30 mil guns, and I run out, and I just run behind, and I keep going. Triple thick. Stop